Blockbuster movie franchises have raised the bar for profitability in Hollywood, with certain series pulling in multi-billion-dollar returns. However, while it's no surprise that established IPs like the Avengers and Harry Potter pulled in record-breaking numbers, what about the films that came out of nowhere? Here are Screen Rant's 10 most surprisingly profitable movie franchises. Karate Kid. A straightforward, coming-of-age tale made with less than $8 million in funding, The Karate Kid earned Noriyuki Morita an Oscar nomination for his portrayal of Mr. Miyagi, after the film grossed over $90 million in North America alone. However, the simple tale of a troubled teenager finding self-confidence and honor through the disciplines of karate has remained a Hollywood go-to property for almost 30 years, resulting in 2 sequels, a spin-off, and a modern remake. Together, The Karate Kid Part 2 and Part 3 added another $150 million to the franchise's box office take. The spin-off, featuring Hilary Swank as the next Karate Kid, secured the international release, but was a box office bomb at home and around the globe, earning only $15 million total. Nevertheless, 16 years later, Sony Pictures dusted off the franchise with a reboot starring Jackie Chan and Jaden Smith that, much to the chagrin of its detractors, earned $359 million in worldwide ticket sales, bringing the franchise total gross to $614 million worldwide. Home Alone. Produced on a budget of $18 million, with an unknown child actor in the lead role, Home Alone became one of the most profitable comedies in film history. A clever premise, combined with a holiday-friendly storyline, resulted in critical acclaim and a monstrous global box office take of $476 million back in 1990, turning Macaulay Culkin into a household name. Yes! Nevertheless, the film's direct sequel, Home Alone 2: Lost in New York, didn't perform quite as well critically or commercially, ultimately bringing in $359 million, over $100 million less than the original. Yet, 20th Century Fox was not done with the series, pushing out another theatrical sequel simply titled Home Alone 3 that did not feature any returning cast members. That third chapter bombed, culling a mere $79 million globally, but the franchise's theatrical run capped out at $914 million. American Pie. It's hard to imagine that an R-rated romantic teen comedy centered entirely around the sex lives of high school seniors would prove to be an enduring comedy franchise, but somehow, American Pie has stood the test of time. The original film posted a solid box office run, with $235 million around the globe. Yet, unlike other entries on our list, nearly every other American Pie film made similar money.
I need to keep this party going.
Even if some viewers came and went, a majority of the series' audience returned for each subsequent installment. The fourth and final chapter, American Reunion, underperformed in North America, making only $58 million, but still managed to secure a total of $235 million worldwide, bringing the franchise's total gross to $989 million. And that doesn't even include the direct-to-DVD tie-ins starring Eugene Levy, titled Bandcamp, The Naked Mile, Beta House, and The Book of Love.
Great movie.
Alvin and the Chipmunks. Alvin and the Chipmunks may have been an iconic animated series in the 90s, but there was no guarantee that a CGI live-action hybrid film would attract a new generation of kids to the franchise. Still, armed with a series of chipmunkified pop music covers, Alvin and the Chipmunks managed to shrug off harsh reviews from critics and pulled in $361 million. Of course, 20th Century Fox didn't stop at one film and introduced the Chipettes in the Squeakquel, which went on to surpass the box office power of the first film with $443 million.
You're winning, sir. Oh.
The third film, Chipwrecked, showed signs of franchise fatigue and subsequently underperformed in the domestic market. Still, thanks to strong international brand loyalty, the movie squeaked by with another $342 million.
It's pretty cool, I guess, if you like a lot of adulation.
Future installments are planned, but even in the face of nasty reviews, the 3 films collectively have grossed almost $1.15 billion for the studio. The Fockers. Meet the Parents is a Hollywood remake of a 1992 indie film, both of which featured a straightforward premise. A loving boyfriend's first meeting with his girlfriend's parents, the Bournes, results in a series of awkward encounters and comedic misunderstandings. It was a simple setup, one that was turned into a smash hit franchise thanks to the film's leads, Robert De Niro and Ben Stiller. With $330 million in global box office revenue, Meet the Parents was a solid release for Universal Pictures, but it was the film's sequel, Meet the Fockers, which turned the story on its head. Bringing in Hollywood heavyweights Dustin Hoffman and Barbra Streisand, it truly exceeded expectations, turning a successful franchise into an international hit with $516 million. The final film, Little Fockers, was significantly less successful with reviewers, but still managed to add a respectable $310 million to the series, for a total haul of $1.15 billion. Bourne. Based on Robert Ludlum's novel series, the Bourne identity delivered a quality international spy thriller, in spite of a modest budget and relatively niche source material. The first entry in the series was a surprise hit in America, which was responsible for over half of the movie's $214 million worldwide gross. The Supremacy sequel improved upon the first in ticket sales, cementing star Matt Damon as an American James Bond. And with audiences primed for more, the series' third entry raked in over $442 million globally. Despite underwhelming reviews, even The Bourne Legacy, a spin-off starring Jeremy Renner, was financially successful, bringing the franchise's total box office take to $1.2 billion.
You beat the record by 2 days.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Night at the Museum. Inspired by Milan Trentz's 1993 children's book, Night at the Museum hit a very calculated box office sweet spot. A film that could enchant kids, but layered in enough fun moments and familiar faces to keep parents entertained. Still, no one could have predicted that Ben Stiller, a T-Rex skeleton, and a cast of quirky comedians portraying historical figures would manage to bring $574 million globally. Unfortunately, the film's sequels, Battle of the Smithsonian and Secret of the Tomb, fell short of capturing the original movie's ticket-selling power.
I mean, it was a good performance. We were right in there, but it's not real.
It's not real.
But combined, Parts 2 and 3 still culled another $750 million for the series, bringing the trilogy's complete run to $1.33 billion around the world. The Hangover. Armed with just a clever setup and a cast of mostly unproven leading men, including Bradley Cooper, Ed Helms, and Zach Galifianakis, director Todd Phillips surprised audiences with a memorable one-off comedy misadventure in The Hangover. The result? $467 million in global box office ticket sales.
Looks like we're going home with some money, boys.
With a bankable, drug-induced amnesia comedy formula, Phillips returned to the series again in 2009, to the tune of $586 million worldwide, and again in 2013, adding another $362 million to the franchise gross.
We are back! We are back!
Even though the third movie was the least successful of the series, proving it might be time to give The Hangover a break, Warner Brothers still made off with a grand total of $1.4 billion from the franchise.
Don't get too excited.
The Mummy. When it was first announced that classic Universal Studios monster The Mummy would be turned into an Indiana Jones-like action-adventure film, moviegoers scoffed at the idea, especially when they heard that George of the Jungle, Brendan Fraser, had been cast as the film's heroic lead. Nevertheless, sharp humor and eye-popping visuals rocketed the movie to $415 million in global ticket sales.
Okay, now I'm a believer.
Subsequent chapters would stretch the storyline to the near breaking point, but still proved to be bankable, with both sequels, The Mummy Returns and Tomb of the Dragon Emperor, earning over $400 million apiece. That said, the franchise began to sputter with the release of spin-off prequel The Scorpion King in 2002, which limped in with an added $160 million for a total franchise bank of $1.4 billion. The Fast and the Furious. Back in 2001, Universal Pictures premiered The Fast and the Furious, a high-octane drama that explored the seedy life of illegal street racing. Thanks to likable leads Paul Walker and Vin Diesel, along with exciting car stunts, the original Fast and Furious was a success, pulling in $363 million at the worldwide box office.
I take the cash, and I take the respect.
Following a string of less successful sequels, the series took a dramatic shift from street racing drama to over-the-top automotive heist action. As a result, box office returns nearly doubled, with Fast 5 reaching $550 million and Fast 6 collecting $788 million worldwide. So far, the series has made a grand total of $2.3 billion in theaters. That's our list for surprisingly profitable movie franchises. Agree or disagree with any of the picks? Or have movie franchises that you were surprised to see pull in big box office numbers? Let us know in the comments section, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more videos like this one.